I want to welcome you to the Ask Jeff YouTube channel. Here's today's question. It says, traditionally, the Passover had 4 cups of wine on the table, representing God's 4 promises to Israel. The 4th cup was always left untouched and reserved for Elijah. Is it logical to assume that this was the cup that Jesus blessed during the Last Supper, considering it was after they finished eating and Elijah was a type of Christ? Well, yes and no. And when we get into the biblical record, whether it's in the book of Matthew or other places about what we know as this famous meal, one of the things that we have great difficulty with is distinguishing exactly what was happening. Because when you go back into Exodus chapter 12, what we know as the Feast of Unleavened Bread is actually synonymous with what we know as Passover. Now, we know that Jesus Christ was the Passover lamb. So how can you eat the Passover meal before the Passover lamb is actually sacrificed? In other words, it says there that there was, according to John 19, there was a high day that was that Sabbath day that started the evening that Jesus Christ was crucified. That high day, more than likely chronologically, was the actual, quote, Passover meal. And what took place 2 days earlier was probably the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Now, hear me clearly. I'm not here to disparage and or question the multitude of representatives, individuals, and studies out there that want to equate that Passover meal, the 4th cup, Elijah, etc. But chronologically speaking, if Jesus Christ is the Passover lamb, then how can the meal he had with his disciples be what we know as that meal? Now, again, remember they said we need to go prepare for the Passover. Unleavened bread, Passover, Exodus 12, all happening at the same time. Now, let's talk about Elijah for just a moment. It is true that even today, that Jewish individuals who are participating in a Passover meal reserve a place setting for Elijah. He was the one spoken of in Malachi chapter 4. It says he is the forerunner of the Lord. In fact, in the Gospel of Matthew, Jesus Christ said that if they had received, the Jews that is, John the Baptist, then he would have fulfilled that role of Elijah. So Elijah is not so much a type of Christ as much as he is a foreshadowing or a type of the forerunner, John the Baptist. So again, when we get into that Passover week, I think John chapter 19 is critical in verse 31 where it says that Sabbath was a high day, because we have to disseminate which one of these celebrations, which one of these meals, and I do not push back against those who claim that it was the actual Passover meal, the 4 cups that Jesus oversaw. But chronologically, it's very difficult to reconcile the two. Great question. If you have one, send it to AskJeff.net. Maybe your question will be tomorrow's. Thanks for being a part of today's daily question. Now, we answer a question each and every day. Please feel free to submit a new question at AskJeff.net. We may not have gotten to yours today, but we eventually will continue to be a part of this. Subscribe so you don't miss out on a question every day.